Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, one of the most important topics that we ever study in math is fractions. So let's continue chapter 7, fractions 1, part 4. At the end of this video, you will be able to add fractions, subtract fractions. Materials we are going to use are a pen, a draft paper, Math Practice Book Edition 2019, and your Enjoy Mathematics Textbook Edition 2013. First, we will learn the basics how to add fractions. Let's start with adding like fractions. This represents 5 over 8. I have to add 2 over 8. If I add 2 over 8 to 5 over 8, here's what we will get. 7 parts out of 8. That is 7 over 8. Now you can see the denominators are the same. So we keep the denominator and we only use addition for the numerators. 5 plus 2 is equal to 7. 7 over 8 is called the sum of these two fractions. In conclusion, a over c plus b over c is equal to a plus b over c, with a, b, c natural numbers and c different from 0. Remember, don't add the denominators. We just use the same denominator in the answer. Now, what happens if you want to add unlike fractions? This might be confusing at first, but you can be better in practice. Let's try adding 1 over 2 to 2 over 8. The two denominators are different, so we can't add the numerators yet. We need to change them so that they have the same denominator. Now, 1 over 2 is equivalent to 4 over 8, since they represent the same amount, which is half of the circle. And the second fraction, 2 over 8, already has a denominator 8, so we don't need to change it, we leave it. So we get 4 over 8 plus 2 over 8. Now the two fractions are changed into another ones having the same denominator. So you can add them. 4 over 8 plus 2 over 8 is equal to 6 over 8. Add the numerators. 4 plus 2 is equal to 6 and keep the denominator the same. 6 over 8 is the sum of these two fractions. In conclusion, to add unlike fractions, change to like fractions first, then add. Now, how to change the unlike fractions into like fractions? This takes a few steps. Let's recognize them. First step, find the LCM of the denominators. Second step, rewrite the problem using the LCM. Third step, add the numerators and keep the denominator the same. And finally, fourth step, simplify. Let's do the following example. Find the sum. First thing you should do when you see an addition fraction problem is to check if they have common denominators. Here, the two denominators are different, so we can't add the numerators yet. We need to find the common denominator. And how we do that? Yes, we find the LCM of the denominators, then follow the previous steps. So in the first step, we list the multiples of the two denominators, 6 and 9, and see where they meet. So multiples of 6 are 0, 6, 12, 18, etc. Multiples of 9 are 0, 9, 18, etc. So LCM of 6 and 9 is 18. In the second step, rewrite the problem using the LCM. We multiply 6 by 3 to get 18. 6 times 3 equals 18. So we do the same to the numerator. 5 times 3 equals 15. Here, We multiply 9 by 2 to get 18, so we do the same to the numerator. 6 times 2 is equal to 12. Hence we get 15 over 18 plus 12 over 18. And now in the third step, add the numerators and keep the denominator the same. So 15 over 18 plus 12 over 18 is equal to 27 over 18. And finally, in the fourth step, simplify this sum, that is, divide the numerator and the denominator by their GCF. The GCF of 27 and 18 is 9, so divide by 9. 27 divided by 9 is equal to 3, and 18 divided by 9 is equal to 2. 3 over 2 is in the simplest form. Now let's solve the following application. Find the sum. Please pause the video and try to solve the application. Solution. 2 over 7 plus 3 over 7 is equal to 2 plus 3 over 7. Since the two fractions have a common denominator, so add the numerators and keep the denominator the same in the answer, which is equal to 5 over 7. 5 over 7 is in the simplest form, since the GCD of 5 and 7 is equal to 1. So we can't simplify this fraction more. 2 over 3 plus 5 over 6 plus 1 over 12. 12 is the LCM of 3, 6, and 12. So we need to multiply 3 by 4 to get 12, and 6 by 2 to get 12. And in the third fraction, the denominator is already 12. So we do the same to the numerators. We multiply 2 by 4 and 5 by 2. Hence, 2 times 4 is equal to 8. 5 times 2 is equal to 10. And keep 1 as it is. Now, the three fractions share the same denominator. So, the three fractions share the same denominator. Now, we can add the numerators. So, it is equal to 8 plus 10 plus 1 over 12. Keep the denominator the same. So, it is equal to 19 over 12, which is in the simplest form. Since GCD of 19 and 12 is 1, so we can't simplify this fraction more. Now our assignment is review pages 93 and 94 adding fractions from the textbook. Homework, exercise 28, page 101 from the textbook. First, we learn to add fractions. Now we learn to subtract them. And if you can add fractions, you will have no problem with subtracting them. This represents 12 over 16. I have to subtract 8 over 16. If I take 8 over 16 away from 12 over 16, here's what's left. 4 parts out of 16, that is 4 over 16. Now you can see the denominators are the same. So we keep the same denominator, which is 16, and we only use subtraction for the numerators. 12 minus 8 is equal to 4. This is just like when we add fractions with the same denominator. In conclusion, A over C minus B over C is equal to A minus B over C, with A, B, C natural numbers, C different from 0, and A is greater than B. What about subtracting unlike fractions? This represents 2 over 3. I have to subtract 4 over 12. Here, the denominators are different, so we need to change them so that they have the same denominators. Now, 2 over 3 is equivalent to 8 over 12, since they represent the same amount. Here, 2 over 3 represents 2 rows out of 3, and 8 over 12 represents also 2 rows out of 3. So they are equivalent fractions. And the second fraction, which is 4 over 12, already has a denominator 12, so we leave it. Now, the two fractions are changed into another ones having the same denominator. Subtract the numerators and keep the denominator the same, so 8 minus 4 is equal to 4, and keep 12 as it is. Thus 2 over 3 minus 4 over 12 is equal to 4 over 12. In conclusion, to subtract unlike fractions, change to like fractions first, then subtract. Well, just like adding fractions, subtraction is very easy when you have a common denominator. And when you have different denominators, follow the same steps we did it for addition. Now let's solve the following application. Please pause the video and try to solve it. Solution: 4 over 7 minus 5 over 11. Always check the denominators first. Here we have 7 in the first fraction and 11 in the second fraction. These two denominators are different. We have to make a common denominator, which is the LCM. LCM of 7 and 11 is equal to 77. So we multiply 7 by 11 to get 77, and we do the same to the numerator 4. We multiply 4 by 11, and we multiply 11 by 7 to get 77. So we do the same to the numerator 5. We multiply 5 by 7. So 4 times 11 is equal to 44, and 5 times 7 is equal to 35. So we get 44 over 77 minus 35 over 77. And now we changed the two fractions into another ones having the same denominator. So subtract the numerators. 44 minus 35 is equal to 9 over 77. Keep the denominator the same in the answer. 9 over 77 is in the simplest form, since we can't simplify this fraction more. Our assignment is homework, exercises 30, 34, 36, and 39, page 101 and 102 from textbook. Summary. In this video, we learned about adding and subtracting fractions, and here are some examples about addition and subtraction. Thank you for watching.